Hey everyone, on today's Mayor's Table, we have Shana Reeves, the Director of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs here in Farmington. We're going to be talking about projects, hiring, staffing, events, and what makes this such a great place to live, work, play, and stay. It's the 58 named parks and all the great facilities that we have, and there's a part that you can play to keep them that way. Hi everyone, Farmington Mayor Nate Duckett. With me today on the Mayor's Table is a longtime friend of the show and 19-year veteran of the city of Farmington. Pretty impressive. Parks and Recreation Cultural Affairs Director, Shana Reeves.
Hi, Mayor.
How are you?
I'm great. Happy to be here.
It's been a while since we've had you on here, so we thought it was timely because it's getting warm out.
It is.
Which means that's more opportunity for people to go to parks, which fits perfectly into what you do. And then also the cultural affairs component. You know, we're coming out of the pandemic. I say that optimistically. And some facilities that have been shut down are obviously reopening. And so I thought it'd be good to bring you on and talk about everything that's happening in parks.
I think we should. We have a lot to talk about, and it's always fun.
We have so much to talk about. This could be like a 3-hour show, Shawna, because of how the important role that parks plays in this community. I mean, it's obviously when we talk about the great things about living here in Farmington, it's the 55 parks, isn't it? Or
58. 58 named parks.
You don't find those in most communities of only 46,000 people. It's pretty impressive, and the inventory is broad. And there's still demand for more parks, of course. But let's talk about what's going on kind of right now. I want to talk about first things that have happened here over the past year and maybe some of your needs with staffing and hiring and those kind of things. And then I want to talk about projects that are being worked on right now. And then maybe we'll talk about projects and events coming up here in the future.
Sounds perfect.
So I want to dig into the first, which is kind of the business end of this, dealing with the fact that we need more staff.
We do.
And the day that this show is going to air, we're actually doing a parks operation hiring event. So if you're watching this on Monday, April 4th,
Come out.
come out.
Come out.
The Civic Center. We're looking for parks seasonal employees. But seasonal employees, it can always end up being longer than the season, obviously.
Absolutely.
But we need those folks right now. We need lifeguards right now. We need
Animal shelter workers right now. We need recreation leaders right now, people that want to help us with our summer sports camps and our summer recreation programs. We need people. We need people at our Civic Center to help us with event setups and our people at our museum, our hospitality workers and our lake hosts. And we are widespread throughout the community, and summer really starts for us now.
Sure.
I mean, when the sun starts shining and the snow starts melting, it's time.
And on top of the need for staff, there's also a need for volunteers because there's a lot of those facilities that use a lot of volunteers. The animal shelter, you mentioned one of those places. There's also Farmington Clean and Beautiful cleanups. We just had one at Lake Farmington this past Saturday. And so if people are interested in volunteering, we have the Mayor's Volunteer Program. Your partnership, I guess is what it is, the partners. But that program you can find on the City of Farmington's website, which, get people engaged.
Volunteers are vital. I think what people don't understand about volunteers is they're staff for us. They are part of our team, and they make things happen. We have a lot of large volunteer groups. The Bonnie Dallas Senior Center, they are lifelines to seniors who they're homebound and they need
Meals on
meals.
Wheels program. Yeah.
Our Farmington Museum, many of our programs are run by volunteers. And people don't think about our museum needing volunteers, but historically that's where the bulk of our volunteers started. And then again, the Bonnie Dallas Senior Center, and you mentioned the animal shelter, but we need volunteers in almost every division. And really Farmington and Clean and Beautiful, we're starting to do a lot with that program now that we're kind of getting out of that COVID era where we're learning how to live beyond that. We do a lot of cleanups, and I'll tell you, all the staff is doing their part, and we encourage the community to do their part, either by volunteering or, yourself. If you see something, help us out, pick it up, grab a trash bag or find a trash can.
That's a great point. I think people need to understand that part of some of the issues we faced over this last couple years, I got a lot of calls from folks who were concerned about why bathrooms weren't open or why, this facility wasn't as clean as they wanted it to be, for that period of time. It all had to do with lack of people. But I preach this all the time, that it can't just be those paid staff that we have take care of these things. It really is up to us as community members to make sure we are doing our part. And in many cases, it's not just taking care of the things that my own trash or my own messes, but it's picking up the stuff that you see that's there that doesn't belong to for other people. As much as we want people to take care of the things, I certainly recognize that if I see it, I'm going to pick it up, regardless if it's mine or not.
Yeah.
At the baseball field, it's been spending a lot of time out at the complex. And it unnerves me to step out and to look at the stands and just see people spitting sunflower seeds all over the ground, leaving trash all over the place, and they just get and walk away. And because somebody else is going to come along and clean up that mess. And so I think this is actually a good segue to talk about that need. At the complex, we do have signs that say no seeds. This is at the baseball complex on La Plata. And the reason is because cleaning up seeds is
It's time consuming.
And when you're running short of staff and you've got those field crews out there who need to do, a laundry list of other tasks, adding those additional things to pick up after other people just takes them away from doing the things that we need them doing.
It is. It's other tasks too that people may not need. We need certain skill sets. It's not as easy to chalk a ball field as you think. It's not as easy to drag a field. So if we can have our skilled workers doing that and we don't have to worry about cleaning up thousands of sunflower seeds, it's helpful to us.
And that's just one example.
And that's one
by the
example.
way. I mean, if you take a cup out there and use a cup to spit your sunflower seeds in and then you throw the cup away, well, then you've done your job.
Yep, you've been responsible.
But the fact is that we just need everybody to take care of what's theirs, recognize that when you spit things on the ground or leave a piece of trash or a bottle of water or something like that laying around and you don't pick it up, that costs everybody money in order to pick that up. So, no, it's a good point.
So let's go back to bathrooms, Mayor. You totally hit on a hot topic for us
These
last
are the
year.
FAQs, Shawna.
Yes.
Bathrooms are a part of the FAQs.
Yes.
What's going on this year with bathrooms, and maybe tell us what happened last year and why there's so many porta potties now?
So there was quite an evolution. As we all know, we made some adjustments during the pandemic that we never thought we would have to. One of the things is initially the bathrooms closed because the CDC recommended certain sanitizations and cleanings that we were not able to keep up with when we had the stay-at-home order. And in the very beginning of the pandemic, we've been in this thing for 2 years now. So I think sometimes it's easy to forget how frightened people were or how stunned they were at how long it had lasted. So we had to close the restrooms. And then the problem was that there was nothing for anyone to do, so they got outdoors. And that's good. That's good for your mental and physical health. It's good for your emotional health. But they had to go to the bathroom. And so what we did was we put more portalets out than we have ever had out. And in fact, our companies here locally with our contracts were having a hard time keeping up with the need. And we struggled with that. We will admit where we had challenges, but there were so many people using them. And we got a lot of calls like, why don't you have hand sanitizer in there? Well, we did, but people would take it. Remember, hand sanitizer became a hot commodity.
Yeah.
So we'd put it in there, it'd go missing. Do you sanitize and wipe them down? Yes, we do. But if there's 100 people using them an hour, and that could be an exaggeration, but I'm just using it as an example, it was a struggle. So we did not have the people to follow the CDC guidelines on sanitizing them and keeping people safe out there. It was hard to get people to come to work. Some people chose to quit their jobs. Some people wanted to stay home. Some people were quarantined. It was a crazy time back then. So coming out of it this year, we recognize that we're not really in any better of a standing with the number of staff we have, but we care about our public, and we know none of us, not the public, not us, can live with another year of just portalets when we have infrastructure there with running water. So we are making some changes to try to open those. First of all, April 15th is our target date, but I will tell you, we've already started that process. As soon as we see the temperatures get out of freezing, we start to do that.
Let's talk about that, because when we've got baseball games happening at the complex or at the Ricketts ballparks, and there's people there and they're like, why?
Why?
If we're out here using the fields, aren't the bathrooms open? Well, at night, there could be a 30-degree shift between
Correct.
your low and your high, and if it stays below freezing in a bathroom that has no heat, that's my understanding.
That
Some of
is
the
the
bathrooms do have heat, but those that don't have heat, they stand a risk of freezing. So we have to keep them closed until it hits that point, which we're coming into, where we're not going to have those lows, below 32, and it's going to stay above that.
So what we did is this year we targeted all of our athletic facilities, actually. So we opened those strategically first because, it's sort of like winterizing a camper. You hope you do it well and you hope you do it right, and sometimes you just have a leak. So we have a very small staff. We have very few plumbers available to us. So we're trying to get those open, fix those leaks if we have them, pressure them up, and do that all when the temperature sensitivity will allow for it. Once we do those, we'll move out to those parks that are reservable that have permanent restrooms. So, if you rent Kiwanis Park, your restroom will be open. So that's the next phase. And then we move out to some of our outlying parks that have permanent restrooms in there. So we hope to have everything open by the 15th because our temperatures may dip down occasionally when we have those cold spells, but it'll all be open by then.
Well, that's really good information, just because I get the question every year.
So do we.
And so it's important that we can reflect on this episode and just send people to this area. Speaking of irrigation, we were talking about grass, and I want to tell you we had a tournament. There was a baseball tournament at Ricketts Park a couple weekends ago, and I could not believe how green the grass was at Ricketts. And part of that, I spoke to our superintendent of fields, and he let me know that because of the new irrigation system that was put in there over the last couple of years, it gave them the ability. It's a better system. It's better insulated. They were able to turn the sprinklers on for periods of time and then blow it out much easier than what we've been able to do in the past. But we'll start seeing those sprinklers now come on at the rest of those fields as well.
And it's isolated. So Ricketts is a standalone stadium. So when you're turning it on, with the upgrades, we were able to isolate the field or certain spots of the field. Other places, when you go to some of our older infrastructure, when you turn on one irrigation, you're running water through hundreds of lines. And so to blow that out, you go to many different spots and you try to blow out those lines to save us from having to dig up and correct leaks. So it is that's a real nice thing about upgrading infrastructure.
Irrigation leaks. Shawna, if I see a park with a broken sprinkler head or a median, how do I report that leak?
We do have a number. If you call our on-call number, so that's 505, and I'm sure we can post this up there for people, but it is on our website too, 505-320-2993. We can help you. And, that's an important comment that you bring up. We have people who unfortunately vandalize our sprinkler systems in our
Last year
parks.
we had a ton of sprinkler heads get kicked off, which is just completely ridiculous.
It can sometimes be upwards of $1,100 a month.
Wow.
That's thousands of dollars in replacing. And they're in our local parks, they're in our neighborhood parks. So guys, if you see something, say something, because, it may seem like fun, but it's really costly to the city, and it takes away from other things that we may be able to upgrade when we're constantly fixing, sprinkler heads.
We had so much staff dedicated to just replacing sprinkler heads last year, staff that we really couldn't afford to have them tackle that every single day.
Right.
Which left, again, we didn't have bathrooms. We didn't have facilities open. We were running behind that ball. Well, you got a majority of these folks out there fixing sprinkler heads.
But we do rely on our community. We have a couple of great community members. I know that when we were at the Among the Waters, you had a chance to meet Ruth and Gary Milliken. They're just retired folks who love this community and utilize our parks. And if they see a leak or trash or a barrel in the river, they let us know. And, we love that from all of our people. So if you're driving downtown and you see that a median may be overflowing with water downtown Main Street, or you're even out by the mall and those middle medians, those are ours. If we're overwatering or something, please let us know, because we may or may not know, but we don't want to take it for granted. And we can fix that day or night.
Well, I think that number, and then I believe that we're going to have an app rolled out here soon called See It, Click It, Fix It.
See, Click, Fix.
See, Click, Fix. That will be coming out so people can download that on the phone. I mean, if you see, again, a broken sprinkler head,
Super
you see
easy.
Graffiti, you see a street light that's not working right.
You snap it and you send it.
You send it. Yeah, and then somebody's going to be taking that information, and we'll go get it addressed. I can tell you from my own experiences, anytime I've reported something, and I'm the mayor, but anytime I've reported something, it gets fixed quickly. And whether it's trash that's lining streets or broken sprinkler heads, graffiti, those kind of things. So this will be a nice addition. The county has their app for reporting dump spots. And the key to this, of course, is that it gets reported and somebody fixes it. I mean, that's
Right.
that's the key, that there's action behind the
reporting.
the reporting of it. So it'll be fun to see how that's rolled out, and then making sure that it works correctly.
Yeah, I think it's big kudos to Georgette and her marketing team because it's easy. It's super easy. You see it, you click it, we'll fix it. I mean, it's just boom, boom, boom. And we might have a few hiccups in the beginning because it's brand new, but if people will work with us, and I think just that, collaboration, we're all in this together. This is all our community. We want it to be beautiful. We want people to enjoy it, to come here. We want it to be clean. So, if people see something, we definitely want to know about it.
What I think will be great, too, is that they can see it, click it, and send it, instead of see it, click it, and put it on, like, social media and say, why doesn't the city fix this thing?
Yes.
That doesn't get it fixed.
That feels so accusatory.
Send it,
Yeah.
just send it now through this app, and we'll get it taken care of as fast as we can. We're going to stay on irrigation because I want to get into some projects, and right now we have a very big project happening at Pinyon Hills Golf Course.
Huge. Yes, it's going well.
It's going well.
It is going well.
I wanted to get an update, kind of where we're at on that, and I'm sure there's people who are looking at it just, foaming at the mouth, ready to get out there. Are we on target for our date, which is July 1?
Right now, we absolutely are. Even with a few hiccups, sometimes machinery goes down. I know we had a trencher that went down, but they've got that main line in. They're starting the laterals, and anybody who's ever done any irrigation knows, your main line's the toughest. It's the big one. The laterals usually just go smoothly. The ponds are looking great. All of the cart paths are out and removed. We're getting ready to pour. In fact, I think this week we're going to try to do our tester for color because remember, the cart paths are color, so that's something to look forward to there. We look great. Now, of course, every grass in town right now looks brown, so does the golf course, but we're even thinking of that. We've been spot watering with some of our spraying rigs and water trucks there with our contractor that's on site. So Mark and Chris are keeping a good eye on the greens and the tees, and when we're being very strategic about that. So it'll be impressive. Like I said, I really think if you went out there now, it's weird to see all the cart paths up.
Yeah.
So once we start to pour and that takes form again, I think people are going to be incredibly pleased. Just being out there on site last Friday and seeing where the overlap will no longer be. When you have overspray, you have native things that grow up that you don't necessarily intend to grow there, or they're larger than they normally would be because native vegetation is just that. It's used to whatever climate it grows in. So that overspray will be gone, and then areas where we could use turf will now be fully turfed in because it will be getting the water it needs. And it's an incredible project, Mayor. I mean, the dedication of you and the council for this and for our community in the next 30 years, it's unbelievable.
Now, Pinyon Hills Golf is one of those, flagships, so to speak, of this community. We want to take somebody that's really impressive. Pinyon Hills is a beautifully designed course. It's very challenging, continues to get kudos every year in some golf magazine, or always mentioning as one of the top municipal courses. Somebody said we should use that course for, the PGA tournament, I think, whenever they were pulling it from somewhere to somewhere else. But I'm proud to be a part of a council that's so dedicated to that end. It's been something that's been obviously talked about by the golfers who are out there for years. They need to upgrade that irrigation system. But it's not just irrigation that we're doing. The colored cart paths, the new bunker sand.
Those look incredible right now.
New liners in the ponds. We're also going to be doing some new facade upgrades to the main building, the restaurant, the outdoor seating areas, the pro shop. All of that's going to be upgraded as well.
Even down at the driving range. Yeah, I mean, really.
New little practice area.
So new roofs, new stuccos, new look. And then just, an overhaul on signages, even down to some details of trash cans. We'll have newer, nicer trash cans down there, the benches. It really is. The bathrooms are going to get sprucing up, if you will.
Yep, locker rooms, changing rooms.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it really will. And, those projects will follow. Our goal right now is to focus on the infrastructure and get
the course open.
That's right, in the hot days. And then, we'll work around the other aspects of it. And I'm sure people will be patient and excited because what's coming is incredible.
I am excited. I'm very excited. Speaking of, let's talk more about projects. We just completed the Among the Waters ribbon cutting. So another 1.5 miles of trail that connects from Bisti Highway all the way over to Murray, and then goes underneath the bridge, and we're hoping to be able to connect at some point into Boyd Park, and then Boyd Park over to the museum,
it's incredible.
Park, it's really coming together. Lemur Lookout turned out great.
Beautiful.
Dedicating that to Dr. Lemer and all his work on the River Reach Foundation. And we're going to have a full episode to talk about the River Reach Foundation, Riverfest, the Animas River Jam. That'll be coming up here on the mayor's table here pretty quickly too. So
Good episode, yeah. Absolutely.
keep your eyes open on that. All Abilities Park, another potential project. Council just awarded the design contract.
We did. We just had a kickoff meeting too. Very exciting. The public should be expecting invites for public feedback within the next month and a half or two. This is a big collaboration, and this will be a huge addition to our community. So
All Abilities Park, for folks who maybe have not aware, this is a park that will be at the old Tibbetts location on Apache. It's going to have features that, again, anybody of any ability, age, is going to have access to some pretty amazing playground features and other amenities that are associated with that. I really believe it's in the right neighborhood, and it's right in the middle of town, and it's gonna be a game changer for us.
it will be. It really will be.
So I know we've got a committee behind that too, and I appreciate all the work that they've done.
Yes.
And
TAP.
being advocates for this very important project. Let's move on. I mean, there's some other things coming up. We're looking at doing a balloon fiesta,
We
a balloon
are.
festival here, which this would be sometime in September.
It is.
We want to make this an annual event. Balloons are such a huge component of what New Mexico. We have the World Ballooning.
We do, right there in
Museum.
Albuquerque.
Yeah.
But here's the great part about the city of Farmington committing to doing this. When you live in our world in Parks and Recreation, a big thing for us is accessibility. And a lot of people think that that's just physical limitations for people. But we look at it as in park user fees. We look at it as in programmatic experiences for different populations. And not everybody can make it down, or not everybody wants to fight the traffic for the real balloon fiesta. And by bringing this balloon event here, Lake Farmington is beautiful. If you've been out there at sunrise or sunset, it's incredible. Putting those balloons out there for takeoff, that provides an accessible event, something that people who may not be able to, or may be unwilling, or for whatever reason, never make it to the one in Albuquerque, they're going to have that right here in their own backyard. And that's an incredible thing for the city of Farmington. That's one of the things that make us special, is the quality of life here. We try to give people experiences and bring things to them.
No, I agree. I
So
think
it's going to be a great
It's
event.
going to be an exciting event. So lots more information coming out on that. Freedom Days, we're doing some work around Freedom Days.
We are.
Adding back in some old components and kind of revamping that. That'll be the week of July 4th.
It will be. In fact, Tanya Stinson with the CVB has been sort of the coordinator of all of those committees that help put on that larger thing. And over the years, it's dwindled a little bit, but now it's evolving again, and we're putting some focus back into it. For us specifically, July 2nd is going to be a big day, so mark your calendars, everyone, because the ice cream social at E3 is coming back, and I'm told that was like the ice cream social of the year. So we're bringing that bad boy
I think
back
the year
on the
that it went
2nd.
away, I remember getting a number of phone calls that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is good news.
It is. And then, just to let y'all in on a little early secret, we are planning a big concert out on the plaza of the Civic Center. The fountain will be going. It will be beautiful. More details to come. Please follow that, because July 2nd is going to be fun. It is going to be fun downtown, and it is going to be fun with Parks and Rec. So you got ice cream social. You got a big band coming. It's going to be outdoors. It's beautiful. It's time to grill, time to have fun.
Well, you just let the secret out of the bag, but
Oh, no.
keep your eyes on
Yes, we've got more.
it. Conmac World Series dates, do we have those yet?
Yes, in fact, right here, I did make a note of that because I thought you might ask. The teams will get here on July 20th.
Okay.
And so typically, the schedule will be formalized in the upcoming months, but typically that's followed by the parade, and then that weekend would be the pool play, followed by the bracket play that week. So Connie Mac World Series is on. It's back.
CBS Sports is going to be broadcasting the championship game.
That is huge.
It's like 40 million homes or something that CBS Sports is in, some really big number. That's a big
It's a huge
broadcasting
number.
group, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
And if people are interested, I mean, there's always volunteer opportunities there with Connie Mac World
There are.
Series, the runners,
The seating ambassadors.
seating ambassadors at the stadium. I think people selling programs is also a volunteer
Yes.
thing. If you have a home and a willingness to spend a week with boys from out of town, we're always looking for people to house and to be
And
part
here's
of
the
that
thing about
committee
that,
and-
Mayor. Everyone is terrified. They're like, oh, I could not do that. For whatever reason. I'm too busy. I don't think my
Sure.
home's good enough or big enough. But I will tell you, if you talk to one person that fosters a kid during that week, you're hooked. I mean, it's
Yep.
like an incredibly life-changing experience, and it's a bond that, I don't know,
It's been
forever.
a lot of fun, and it is fun to listen to people who've done it for a long time and the way that they stay connected with a lot of those players. So, we kept Nashville Knights for a couple of years, and one of our players is playing for Oklahoma State this year, and that's exciting, and get to kind of watch and follow his progress. So,
Yeah.
yes, it's a great opportunity, and it is something that I really believe pays itself back big time. All right, moving on to other summer stuff. When will Farmington Lake be open? I mean, it's
April
open
15th.
now.
Yeah. So, you know what? That should be under the FAQs.
Yeah?
So,
FAQs.
here's the deal
Farmington
with
Lake is
Farmington
open.
Lake.
Okay.
The outdoor recreation portion of it, meaning the land, the biking, the picnicking, the bird watching, the camping, that's
All
a
open,
year-round.
year-round.
Year-round. You can do it year-round. And really, we close, meaning we don't staff it. We open April and we go all the way to October and November. And then when we don't staff it, they're self-paying. So you can still bike, hike, walk, bird watch, picnic, camp. You just do your thing.
Right.
And you self-pay. When we are open is when the actual lake, the water is open. And the reason for that is that we do the aquatic inspection because we need to protect our reservoir from those invasive species. So April 15th is when we open the water part. We do have our annual passes still, $50. You can purchase that. If you're going to go out there a lot, it's totally worth it. Buy it, hang it, you're good.
Otherwise, it's $1 per person, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And this year, we're opening up more available kind of beach space because we've cleared away some invasive trees and brush, and I believe that there's 13 kind
Pockets,
of
if you will.
now, bigger locations for people to get access to the water. Because I know from past years, trying to get in sometimes it's really cramped.
It is.
This is going to make a big difference. And then we also have a trail that's going
A
along
walking
that
trail.
west side, a little walking trail, which I think will be a great addition as well. And we've got a big vision for the future of that
We
lake,
do.
and we're just taking it one step at a time. And we'll see kind of where it goes from there. We've gone out and asked for federal dollars to try and help with some infrastructure needs, and we did not get those yet. But
Yet.
I know we're working on
Yet
it.
is the key. Yeah, a big kudos to the fire department, Chief Starrett and Deputy Chief Brandon Hurd and Tom Miller. I mean, we worked collaboratively with them on that project, and, those guys spent a lot of time hoping, that was something new for them in terms of, invasive species. They're usually clearing across an open whatever, and knowing that this was our recreational, they really included us, worked closely with our team, and the pockets that we were able to get that invasive species out of to open it up really are amazing.
I would say this too. There was a big construction project out there, so this is part of the FAQ. I get asked as people who've gone out to the lake, like, "Hey, what is all that dirt that's being moved around?" And we have to clean out those sediment basins.
Yes.
So when the water gets pumped in from the Animas River, and it flows in through the zigzags on the east side
The
of the lake.
zigzags are the snakes.
Yeah, and those have to get cleaned out every year. So another reason during the winter months why the waterways are closed is we've got to do a lot of that work, and we let the lake get lower so that we can get in there and get that work done.
And that's absolutely imperative to the sustainability of, a lot of people call it our drinking water. And I always like to say, well, it's the reservoir, it's the holding tank, because we
Yeah.
don't actually drink that water.
right.
So we work really hard to use the word reservoir because it is just that. It's the holding tank for the water that goes to be treated. But it's important that we clean that out.
All right. Bisti Bay is opening up when?
Memorial Day weekend. So again, we kind of consider that a 100-day season. It opens Memorial, and we do our best to keep it open with hours through Labor Day weekend. Again, most of our college kiddos and our high school kids go back to school, so we do alternate hours there toward the end of September. But we're ready. We're excited.
We need more lifeguards.
Definitely. We ran a class during spring break. We had 8 participants. They all passed. We're hoping to hire them all, but we need more. So come on out. If you need to learn how to swim, we'll help you.
Yeah.
We need you.
We need you.
We need you. Yeah, we are still working toward the Aqua Park mayor.
Probably not this year, but
Maybe not, but
Yeah,
maybe. It
yeah.
depends on manufacturing, shipping. It depends on lifeguards. So
the Aqua Park would be a Lake Farmington feature, kind of a very big aquatic playground. But we need people, and of course, the manufacturing process would have to come through. But I'm excited to see that also be added to our inventory of things to do in Farmington. Other projects still, pickleball. I mean, I just love the fact that we're going through this list, and you're like, geez, this is going to be new, and this is going to be revamped, and this is coming down the pipeline, and this is going to be a new event. I mean, this is an exciting time to be in the city of Farmington. pickleball court. Give us an update on that project at Brookside.
So, yes, I was going to say, in case you're new to this discussion, Brookside tennis courts that are right beneath the Bistai Bay, right over by the skate park, we are right on schedule. Knock on wood, that project has gone smoothly, the second half of it. We shut down December 6th, that project, because many things that were left were temperature sensitive. So we shut it down for the winter. We were scheduled to start up May 1st, but there were a few things, so we're already going again, pouring the sidewalks around it. As soon as we hit those temperatures in the 40s, we'll apply that surface. We anticipate being open mid-May or so.
Great.
I mean, it'll be ready for this summer. There'll be plenty, and those are pickleball-only courts. So there are 6 courts. We designed that to be competitive so that you can hold appropriate tournaments there. And I got to tell you, if you haven't played, I played the first time, Mayor, for this last Sunday, and I know the rules, and I'm going to invite you and the council out to teach you.
Oh, great. Yeah, Barbie wants to play too.
I'm telling y'all, I can see why it's so fun. But again, if you're looking, we also have double lines at the sports complex and at Mossman. And we have signs that help you. You know, green lines are pickleball, white lines are tennis. If you need help, scan this QR code and it gives you the rules. It takes you right to the pickleball page. So,
great.
Yeah, we're trying to help folks out and, ease that transition. It's a lot of fun.
I mean, the country club built some pickleball courts. I know Durango's looking at trying to find a way to get pickleball courts. You can play indoor pickleball, I think, at the college and at the rec center. Mm-hmm. And if you go to one of the sporting goods stores here in town, I mean, they've got full end caps full of pickleball
And
gear
we will be renting
and
pickleball equipment at the
Okay.
recreation center because we rent racquetball stuff and tennis stuff and volleyball stuff. So we're adding pickleball equipment to our selection that you can rent. So
Very good. I had another FAQ, and it had to deal with you said the word surface. And so there has been questions asked about on the tennis courts, if I'm out there playing soccer, for example, on the tennis courts, or I'm doing something else on the tennis courts besides playing tennis, we kind of frown on that for a number of reasons. I just wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of explain why.
yeah, that's a tough one. Mayor, Farmington, if anything, is a youth athletic community. We have a lot of people out there. They're playing golf, they're playing tennis, they're playing soccer, they're playing baseball and softball, and they're swimming. It is an incredibly active young population, and we're happy about that. But it's amenities are tight, so people are getting creative. And we did have some soccer on the tennis courts, and it was because it was easy. It was an enclosed surface. There were lights.
Sure.
But unfortunately, we have many surfaces that are multifunctional, but that's not one. If you put trash cans on it, it damages the surface and the liner below. It's just not made for that. So pickleball and tennis are different with sneakers. The balls that they use, there's nothing roughing up against.
You don't want the soccer balls hitting those nets over
Yeah.
and over again because it'll damage the nets.
It does. Just even the fencing around, people don't understand, at our softball and our baseball fields, again, if you're hitting balls into the fence, it's
It dents
bowing
the
it.
fence.
Yes, and it causes a safety hazard on our end. So, we want to help people be creative and find space where they can to recreate because we are all about that. But you're right, there are some surfaces that are just not multifunctional like that.
Well, we're going to get creative because we're going to have to in a number of these sports where we're at capacity levels for field use, and we're trying to find new ways to make sure that we can address, kind of the demand for some of these fields. And I'm sure if your kid plays softball or baseball or soccer, I mean, you understand that there's times it's really tight to get a field. We're working on a project, and we're hopeful that we'll be able to provide some sort of relief there. But people ask all the time, well, can't you just build, a new soccer facility? Can you just build a new baseball complex? There's obviously a lot of variables that are associated with that. First and foremost being, where's the land available at to build those things on?
Yes.
Do we have the staff to take care of that additional complex? And they're very expensive. Building baseball and soccer fields is not cheap.
No.
And so we're gonna find ways to hopefully help address some of that. And what I think is great is I feel like probably now more than ever there's more kids out playing, and that's one of the parts of quality of life that you mentioned earlier. And it's having an active youth community is that we want to provide those spaces where they can play safely. Team sports, just going to the parks, whatever the case may be. And I think we do a very good job. Your team goes above and beyond. I want you to know that, and I hear that from so many people in the community, how much they appreciate Parks and Recreation, so you can always take that back.
I
to them and
appreciate
let
that,
them know. And that's always the challenge. We got to hold that high. People expect that high level
They do.
of execution. And sometimes it's hard to live up to that, especially when you're short-staffed.
It is, and this
meeting
team,
people.
they have their own expectations that they set for themselves, and they work from their heart. They literally, it's not a job for them. They literally treat this as it's our gift to the community, and they try to be prudent with dollars, and they try to be smart in their research so that we are providing the best practices and following industry standards and even going above and beyond in some cases. So I know that we wouldn't be able to do it without the type of people who work for us because they are incredible. So thank you for recognizing
No,
them.
it's a special community. 58 named parks, 2 large baseball and softball facilities, another group of baseball fields, a huge soccer complex, and then the aquatic center, the museums, anything that's associated, all that, the medians. People don't know Parks and Recreation. You're in charge of the medians too.
Yes.
I mean, and we see them out there all spring and summer long working to keep those medians nice and clean, and it just adds that little special artistic touch in my mind that makes this a beautiful place to live and play and stay. So it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time and effort and good people to do it, and we're always looking for good people.
We are.
So.
It's a top-notch team to join.
Shawna, I had Sandstone Productions listed on here too. We have a big summer.
We do.
Kind of coming up program
We
for
are.
that.
So let me just briefly, because I know we could talk forever about everything. We're changing the way we do Sandstone Productions. For forever and ever and ever, we offered one production, and it was amazing. This year, we're going to offer 3, and it'll span the summer. Only one of those productions will actually take a place at Sandstone. The other 2 will take place at the Civic Center. But the ones that we're doing are The Music Man, Pirates of Penzance, and Annie. And the idea is this. So we have some incredible local and regional talent,
Sure.
and we've had them for years. But as we continue to show them value and continue to want to promote the arts and culture, we're trying to do something where we build on them and provide them. And remember I talked about accessibility? We want these people to be able to work with folks that are from Broadway or folks that are from, these theaters, the Sondheim theaters.
Yeah.
So really the idea is that we're doing like a backwards progression. So, the first production will be staffed with professional actors that we pay to come into our community. But then their commitment to us is to have understudies, our local and regional talent that's already incredible. Give them an opportunity to understudy with a professional. So then the second production is less professional, more local, regional. And by the time we get to Annie, we've got kiddos, we've got all of our understudies, and they are doing everything that they've learned and building on their skills that were already there. So we hope that people see the accessibility portion like we do and really see what we're trying to provide people without them having the expense of having to go out to these places, Hollywood, New York, Chicago, and get these experiences. We're bringing them to our hometown. So come out, get out of your comfort zone, support it. I mean, if you're not a theater person, it's still a beautiful evening at any of these things.
Sandstone's gorgeous. Well, again, the more facilities that are associated with you, Sandstone, another facility. You've also got the Frisbee Golf Course out there. That's the Civic Center, which Randy's done such a great job in bringing in programming for that. Civic Center is a huge part of what your inventory is, the rec center, Sycamore Park. I mean, we could do another whole show.
Graffiti, vector control.
Yeah.
It's there. We're everywhere.
Well, keep up the good work.
Thanks, Mayor.
Anything else you want to go over today?
I just want to mention that we are on a national tour for honoring veterans. They do it every year, and this year it's from April to September. So the national tour is set, and people just jump on this. It's very casual after that, but they select things, and this year Farmington is on the map for our All Veterans Park up off of Butler. They've done, Vietnam vets.
Veterans on
The
Butler.
All Veterans was on one of the tours before, but the idea is that people jump on their motorcycles, they ride across the United States, going to these things, they take a picture, we honor our veterans there. So we will have a sign welcoming people to Farmington from our city and opening our hearts and
All right.
thanking them. And that starts April 1st, so it's coming up. And so from April through September, you never know, we could have visiting veterans. So if you see them in town, thank them for their service and welcome them to our community.
I had the opportunity on March 29th to participate in the Vietnam Veterans Memorial event at Vietnam
was it?
Veterans Park. It was great. It was a little rainy, but I can just tell you, for those veterans who were there, it was very meaningful. Somebody said, wouldn't it be great to get the story, each of these individual stories of what they experienced, and it was very moving. And so thank you to the Daughters of the Revolution for putting on those events. We should have another event here later this year where we're adding in the Gold Star
Yes, in September.
monuments at the All Veterans Park. So that will be coming up, that people can come out and support our veterans and the families who've lost loved ones in battle. So
Absolutely. Well, Mayor, I'm sure we just got the tip of the iceberg, but I've enjoyed every minute.
Well, thanks for being here, and it's always fun to get caught up on things and let the community know what's going on. And I'm sure we'll have more FAQs to go over, but you're doing a great job, and so is your team, and hopefully we'll get some people come out today, Monday,
That'd be awesome.
April 4th, if you're watching this on Monday, April 4th.
Get that job fair.
Get those
Join
job
our
fairs.
team.
Yep.
It's incredible. The things that you learn and the skills that you learn and really the friends you'll make for life, it's worth it.
All right. Shana Reeves, thanks for being here, and thank you for tuning in. And just final reminder, pack it in, pack it out. If you see litter on the ground, pick it up.
Absolutely.
Our parks are a special place for everybody here in this community. It represents who we are, and there's people who come from all over and visit our parks or go to our baseball fields or soccer fields, and many of these other facilities. We want to keep them clean. Do your part as a community. Recognize the opportunity when you see it, and stay tuned to the Mayor's Table. There's lots more coming up this summer right here in the city of Farmington. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.